The mid-year budget presentation. We'll bring you some international news as well as Darfur governor and former rebel leader Mini Ako Mwani renews call for civilians in the region to take up arms to defend themselves. We have details of these stories and a lot more coming to you in the next 60 minutes if you stay with us. My name is Noble Crosby Annan. It is done and dusted. The National Council of the New Patriotic Party has resolved to conduct its Super Delegates Conference slated for August 26 at the regional level. After more than 4 hours of meeting, the council went with that decision despite 9 of the aspirants and other supporters kicking against the decentralized system of voting.
The National Executive Committee, NEC, first held its meeting, after which the highest body, the National Council, also held its meeting. 8 of the flag-bearer aspirants were present in all the meetings. After over 4 hours, the National Council took the decision to decentralize the Superdelegates Conference.
The National Council, by majority decision, decided that the Special Delegates College should be held at the various regions, in line with what happened in 2014. It's not the aspirant who will determine venue for election. It's the National Council that determines. Yes, you can make a request, but the request can be accepted or rejected. But at the end of the day, even the petitioners, those who supported and those who are against, were all happy that the process was fair. Then again, also, National Council constitutes a committee, elections committee, to supervise the presidential primaries, which is chaired by Professor Michael Quay.
In 2014, we did it in the 10 regions plus the National Party office to make it 11. So we are standing by the status quo. Nothing has been broken, so nothing needs to be fixed. The petitioners were there. They moved the petition, they made their case, and will refer to relevant portions of the Constitution.
The Council also resolved to use a photo album.
The National Council also made it clear to the aspirant that the album verification is an internal exercise by the party. It's not because one is contesting for presidential primaries. That's why we are doing the verification. It's also to make sure that as a party we have a credible voter or album register for even the presidential primary and the parliamentary primaries. And once this exercise is done, the copy will be made available to the aspirants for their perusal, and will also be given to them within a very reasonable time, at least a month to the election.
So it be a picture-to-picture or just the names?
We have pictures. Every person who is entitled to vote will have his or her picture in the album, and that is what will be given to the aspirants.
Delegates at the Superdelegates Conference on August 26 are to elect only 5 people out of the 10 aspirants vying for the flag bearership.
The argument is select 5, shortlist 5, and they are saying that in the selection process, you are supposed, each person voting is supposed to vote for 5 people. So by the end of the day, everybody is voting 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. But that's what the Constitution says, that one man, one vote.
Yeah. You are satisfied with that?
Absolutely.
After the meeting, the flag bearer hopefuls present, majority of whom kicked against the decentralization of the election, seemed to have accepted the council's decision.
Well, still on the NPP's flag bearership race, the decision by the National Council as expected is generating a lot of conversation and reaction from the various quarters, particularly from the 9 aspirants who petitioned the party to have a decentralized system of voting. Now, at the National Council meeting, the information we're picking up is that 73 of them voted against a centralized system, and then 9 voted to want a decentralized system. And of course, the majority carried the day, and it was decentralized. We'll be speaking with Professor Smart Sapong pretty shortly, who is a political science professor, for some updates on all of this. He's joining us now. Prof, thank you so much for your time with us on the program. You at first thought that it should be something that should come easy for the party to accept the petition of the 9 aspirants towards having a decentralized super delegates conference. That did not happen. What do you make of all of that?
Well, a very good afternoon to your good self and good afternoon to our cherished viewers. The National Steering Committee or Executive Council have taken the decision. Like you rightly said, I was thinking that, for peace to prevail, if the 9 feel strongly and it will not cause any harm, they can just accept their petition. But in the wisdom of the team that sat, they want to go with how they've been doing their things. I want to believe that the aspirants are fine with it, because whether or not their petition was accepted, the decision was going to be made by the delegates whom they have visited and they keep visiting. So yes, they should intensify their campaign. It doesn't matter where you sit to eat honey. Wherever you sit to eat honey, honey is sweet. So yeah, we wish them well.
So, Prof, the demands that were made by the 9 aspirants as well as some supporters of the party came with various reasons. Some say it would be easy for the aspirants to engage with the super delegates before the voting period. Others were also saying that it would be cost-effective for the party. Now that the party has chosen to decentralize it, is there something that we are likely to miss to be the reason why the NPP party decided to continue with what happened in 2014?
Yeah, there's absolutely going to be nothing to miss. You know, practically in our political system, 24 hours to voting day or to voting time, official campaigns are supposed to cease. So this idea that if they had been gathered at one place, they would have still had time to engage them and all those things. They should do that early, so that by 24 hours to the election day, all those things can cease. Whatever you need to tell super delegates, and let's bear in mind, these are super delegates, people who are self-made men whose minds are not changed by the venue of the voting and all those things. So I think it is in line. They should just do their work and do it very fast, so that they don't need the election day as a day for campaign.
Prof, I'd like for you to hold on for me and let's take a listen to this. A member of the Council of Elders of the New Patriotic Party in the Northern Region, Sergeant Abdul Karim Salifu Adam, is retired. He has been speaking about which category of aspirants he thinks should make up the 5 lists in the special electoral college.
Ken Agyapong, that guy is a joker. He's just a joker. I don't regret calling him a joker because of the statements he's been making. You don't go and meet delegates and tell them you have money, you have given party vehicles, and you don't tell them that the party gave you a lot of privileges. If the party gave any of you those privileges, you too you even buy assembled pickups from Nigeria. You will bring the assembled plant here and fix them for Ghanaians. President Nana Ado's first 4 years, he made Amewu the Minister for Energy. They gave you a contract of $100 million. You don't tell delegates the things you get out of the party. There's a journalist who was called Sola, who died. Amaru Swale. It's alleged that you have a hand in it. They will ask you these things. If I have my own way, he should not even be part of the 5. And then this other guy, Kwabena Agyapong, he is even west. You were the press secretary when we won the elections 2000.
So those were the opinions of a member of the Council of Elders of the New Patriotic Party. Professor Smart Sarpong, I saw you listening and watching to that video with some keen interest. This is coming from somebody no less than a member of the Council of Elders of the New Patriotic Party. And this is in relation to some of the aspirants. What does this say?
Yeah, quite unfortunate the choice of words he used. He's a senior man by us, and I'm sure he should be even older than Ken or Kwabena Agyapong. But I mean, with all due respect, Ken Agyapong is not a joker. And I mean, that reference should be, I mean, some level of apology should come if he deems it necessary. Seriously, none of the 9 aspirants are aspiring out of maybe ignorance, or they know what they are up to. Only that it is clear that some of them will not make it to the first 5. If you ask me, Ken will be part of the first 5 unless anything strange happens. Akoto Friye, the former Agric Minister, Doctor, is likely to be part of the first 5 unless something strange happens. Chief Alan, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia are likely to be part of the first 5 unless something strange happens. And then maybe Honorable Jogate, if luck goes on his side, may be part. Obviously, the rest, we all know, are not so much in the race. But hey, you never can tell. They still have about 1 month more to campaign. So let's wish them all well.
Prof, this is not the conversation we're having alone. Please stay on the line for me. Let's speak with a member of Kennedy Agyapong's campaign team, Francis Annum Boateng. He's joining us also for some quick reactions on the comments coming from a member of the Council of Elders of the New Patriotic Party. Francis, thank you so much for your time with us on the program. 2 questions for you. First of all, is your reaction to what a member of the Council of Elders of the party is saying. He says your candidate is, if you like, a joke. Francis, can you hear me? Unfortunately, Francis cannot hear me as of now, but we'll try and reach Francis Annum Boateng again, who is a member of the Kennedy Agyapong campaign team. We still have Professor Smart Sarpong also on the line with us, engaging the outcome of the National Council's meeting of the NPP towards accepting a decentralized voting system for the Super Delegates Conference that is happening on August 26. Prof. Sarpong, so briefly before you take leave of us, this is done and dusted. What could be the disadvantages of the decision that the National Council of the NPP has taken?
Maybe some level of mistrust. People are of the view that many of the regional chairmen have declared support for one candidate or the other. And so citing the elections right at their doorstep would not bring in the needed trust or transparency. But in the wisdom of the team that met yesterday, they have instituted an elections committee, headed by Professor Michael Kwe. We all know, very fair and firm. Let's just hope that representatives he sends to the various regions would conduct themselves very well, so that that bit of mistrust can be taken away. But to the aspirants also, this gives them a very small number of people to supervise. They should send very strong agents who will represent their interests very well, open their eyes so that they are not shortchanged in any way or form. I think with these two, they can come out and accept the verdict that turns out on that day. They should participate in the process. They have submitted themselves to it. They can't quit. This is the decision of the team. They don't set the rules, like the General Secretary rightly said. This rule is not being set for one person. So they should also accept themselves to the rules and make sure they put up a very good show.
Always a pleasure talking to you, Professor Sarpong. Professor Smart Sarpong is a political science professor from the Kumasi Technical Institute, speaking with us there. We still have Francis Annum Boateng, who is a member of the Kennedy Agyapong's campaign team, joining us also for some quick reactions to the comment from the member of the Council of Elders of the NPP, also the decision by the National Council of the NPP not to have a centralized election. Francis, if you can hear me, the meeting did not go your way. When we engaged you on Thursday, you made mention of some perceived establishment candidate, hence the need to centralize voting. Well, that has been rejected. What is your candidate saying?
Oh, let me say good afternoon to your cherished listeners. As at now, our candidate, Honorable Kennedy Agyapong, has never spoken about what happened yesterday. If you can see or you can hear, he's currently at the WA. He's currently at WA, continuing his engagement with the grassroots. So since the party hierarchy has said that they want the voting to be done in the decentralized manner, of which we thought it's not the best, we have nothing to say. I heard somebody saying, when I was coming online, I heard somebody you were interviewing saying that they put a committee together and they are going to ensure. Our prayer is that on the day of the election, there will be nothing fishy happening.
Francis, before you go, we also heard from a member of the Council of Elders of the New Patriotic Party describing Kennedy Agyapong as a joke going and that he should not be part of the 5 to make the list to be on the ballot paper for the general delegates elections to elect a flag bearer of the party.
Well, we are in a democracy, so that is what he thinks should be done. But he's not the final authority to make sure Kennedy is part of the 5 or not. So we don't normally take such comments so serious, my brother.
Francis, thank you so much for joining us with those updates. Francis Anum Boateng is a member of the Kennedy Agyapong campaign team, reacting to some concerns from the fallout of the National Council's decision of the New Patriotic Party. Also, some comments made by a member of the Council of Elders of the NPP there. Now, away from politics, the National Association of Graduate Teachers is urging heads of the various senior high schools to sit aloof and allow the challenges in the schools to remain. This follows the interdiction of the head of West Africa Senior High School of alleged charging of illegal fees. Angel Kabun, the president of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, spoke with us.
Parents themselves, through the ingenuity of the president of the PTE, identify problems in the school and then they decided to levy themselves. The only problem for the investigation that I have carried is that it is the assistant headmaster who gave his Momo number to be the conduit through which the monies are paid. The investigation should rather go into what is the money collected used for. Is it used for the consumption of an individual? Or it is for the purpose that will enhance the education of the students. If it's for the purpose that will enhance the education of the student, it tells you that there is government supply deficit that created the vacuum for the need for these monies to be collected to fill that deficit. Sometimes I also blame the heads. They are too enthusiastic to ensure that there is education for the students. I will advise in the current situation, the head of the school should also stay aloof. Maybe they are not staying aloof enough for the government to see that there is a problem. They are being moved by the need to provide good education, and they take actions that will get them in trouble. We are calling for the reinstatement of the headmistress of West Africa Secondary School, because the problem is bigger than the incident that occurred in West Africa Senior High School.
We all know that the financing our secondary education is going through serious challenges. Unfortunately, a lot of us who have raised these issues have not gotten the needed support from the authorities, and that is why some of the headmistresses and headmasters and school authorities.
Well, this is not the first time that a head teacher of a second cycle institution has been interdicted for charging illegal fees, allegedly. Let's speak with Peter Nochukote, who is the ranking member on the Education Committee in Parliament. Peter, thank you for joining us. Another of a senior high school head teacher interdicted over alleged charging of illegal fees. In the face of the challenges confronting the free senior high school education, what is your reaction to this?
Yeah, thank you very much. And good afternoon to your viewers. To me, the interdiction is totally unnecessary. If you look at what is happening now in our senior high schools, what the GES has done is just to, for me, it's a sign of failure. Failure because you have failed to deliver on your mandate as a sector. You have failed to deliver on your promises. And once you have failed, you now use people you have put in other positions as a scapegoat to explain yourself. Now, the senior high schools now, the heads are finding it very difficult to run the schools.
Yeah.
Because money is not being released to the schools. There is a long list of challenges they are facing. And the greatest of them is a financial challenge. We don't release money to them regularly. They are in arrears of even what they should have released for the previous years. They have not done it. And parents are now taking it upon themselves to provide some of these facilities to the schools. Look, money to even conduct end of semester examination is a challenge to the schools. So when parents meet and they say, oh, we are going to do contribution or make contribution and then support you. The parents, they have an account with the school. So, or the schools, they pay into that school account for that purpose. So, if government had released money to the schools, I don't think the parents will come in and be providing such facilities or giving them money.
Okay. So Peter, still on this subject, Peter, in as much as there's the desire or the need for the school authorities to keep running the school efficiently, how should they go about it in the face of the constant sanctions that come as a result of the charging of alleged illegal fees?
You see, for me, the sanctions are not necessary.
Okay.
Go and solve the problems that the heads of the institutions are facing, period. Then there will be no challenge.
Okay. Briefly, Peter, before you take leave of us, what do you make of the calls by NAGRATS for the heads to begin to sit aloof when they make complaints and supplies are not made?
Yeah, I agree. I support the position of NAGRAT 100% because they are in the field and I was there. So I know what is actually happening. So for me, the headmistress should be reinstated. There's no need to punish the headmistress for the failure of government or the Ministry of Education to deliver on their mandate.
But if the head teachers are being told to sit aloof and they also decide to sit aloof, then we're not solving any problem, are we?
You see, the government or the Ministry of Education should rather address the situations, the prevailing challenges in the various institutions and make sure that they solve the problem rather than taking or looking for scapegoats. There should be a holistic approach to solving the problems facing the free senior high school policy. We need to look at it and then for once and for all solve the problem so that we don't pick and choose as and when we want to get somebody out of the way.
Mr. Kotoi, thank you. Peter Norchu Kotoi is the ranking member of the Education Committee in Parliament. Well, from one member of Parliament to another committee in Parliament, and Parliament's Account Committee intends to demand answers from the Attorney General on actions taken against agencies and individuals referred for investigations and prosecution. Chairman James Klucha-Veggie says the offences recur due to the absence of sanctions against such agencies.
Agencies and institutions under the ministry appeared before the committee to answer some questions on recommendations by auditors on their 2020 accounts and records.
Honorable Chair, our work as a postal administrator involves a lot of moving items out of the country, out of your jurisdiction, and receiving items into your jurisdiction. And so in 2020, when Ghana was hit with COVID, borders were shut down.
When you started, I knew you mentioned COVID.
Forgive me, Honorable Chair, but that is the reality. Borders were shut down. I mean, items that you'd have easily moved with vehicles, you have to move with airlines. So it created a lot of operational costs.
It's been 6 years since he left the place, so he needs a little bit time to be able to provide us with the necessary documentation to support the expenditure. We've written to the Executive Secretary. On my way here, he sent us his response to say that we should give him some time.
The committee recommended that the institutions regularize financial systems and operations due to infractions in payment, tenancy agreements, and losses.
I'm satisfied to the extent that they've been able to respond to the issues or the recommendations of the auditors in this report. But that shouldn't have been the case. To be timely, they should have done that within the 30 days given to them.
Chairman of the committee, James Klucha-Veggie, says they will demand answers from the Attorney General on actions taken against offenders.
So we recommend, if there is a need for Mr. A or B to be prosecuted, we recommend to the Attorney General that prosecute this man in court. It is now left for the Attorney General to take action against that person. Now, since 2020, we have started recommending people to the Attorney General for prosecution. This year, getting to the end of the year, we are going to call the Attorney General to tell the committee what actions he has taken on all the recommendations that we have made to him.
The institutions which appeared before the committee are Ghana Post, Data Protection Commission, Ghana Courier and Postal Service, and the Accra Digital Center.
Now, from the committee to an individual member of parliament, the ranking member of the Defence and Interior Committee of Parliament, James Agalga, is calling for a holistic investigation to cover all the persons whose voices were captured in the leaked audio tape purporting to oust the Inspector General of Police. Reacting to a recent interview by the former Northern Regional Chairman of the NPP, Bugri Nabu, the MP for Bulsa North says those comments have made the yet-to-be-set 7-member Committee of Parliament tasked to investigate the leaked tape their work very easy.
Bugri Nabu has made the work of the Speakers Committee relatively easier. Having said that, it's very crucial for us to appreciate the fact that the NIB has intervened. You would understand that the scope of investigations of the NIB holistic. According to Bugri Nabu, what they have done so far is to arrest his employees. I hope that is just the beginning and that they're going to extend the scope of the investigation to cover the police officers who were so involved in audio, because in fact, most of the damning statements were actually made by the police officer, in that leaked audio. So I would expect that a holistic investigation is made. The NIB probably would preempt whatever recommendations the committee would make. If the committee, for instance, recommend that some criminal probe be commenced with a view to having the suspects charged, of course, NIB has already started something. If at the conclusion of their investigations, the police officers located in audio are not also interrogated, arrested, a manner that is similar to how employees were picked up and are currently being held, and of course would have reason to think that the NIB is not conducting an impartial and credible investigation.
Away from that, chiefs and opinion leaders of NEMA in Accra are opposed to the installment of a rival chief. At a news conference, they requested the swift intervention by government to forestall a looming chieftaincy conflict in the municipality.
NEMA has enjoyed more than 6 decades of peace after a 1951 protracted chieftaincy conflict. According to chiefs and opinion leaders, the conflict is bound to recur if the state does not immediately intervene.
I think we are calling the attention of all the concerned institutions. You get me? So that what is happening, they should be aware, because we have sent a letter to all the stakeholders in the country, police, and everywhere. We have sent letters to, because what we are going to, we are calling the attention of the government to step in to bring peace in NEMA. Because if peace is not in NEMA, the government is not in peace.
Ghana, we are living in peace. What happened in 1951, we don't want it to happen now again. NEMA is a big stomach. You know what I mean by big stomach? So if we vomit it, it will escalate. That's why we did this to bring tension down.
He said the community's leadership has already petitioned the Ministry of Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs over the issue, while other aspects are pending in court. NEMA is one of the densely populated Zongo settlements in Accra.
You're watching Midday Live on TV3. My name is Noble Crosby. Going for a quick break. We're back with more stories. Stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint. As compared to other paint brands on the market, we take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
St. John's School is 70 years. Hooray! The headmaster, board of governors, the management, staff, PTA, Old Saints, and students are calling on all to join in the celebration of the 70th anniversary. Theme: 70 years of impactful Catholic training on the boy child, the St. John's Experience. The celebration is starting from 17th to 23rd July 2023. Program highlight: Monday 17th July, anniversary lecture. Tuesday 18th July, cleaning and tree planting outside the school. Wednesday 19th July, exhibition by student and a memorial service. Thursday 20th July, float through the principal street of Sekondi Takrady. Friday 21st July, games with All Saints. Saturday 22nd July, anniversary Grand Debra. Sunday 23rd July, anniversary Thanksgiving Mass at the school premises. Guest speaker: Old Saint 1980 Dr. Charles E. Owuba. Special guest of honor: Dr. Justice Samo, Justmore Construction Limited. Chairman: Old Saint 1977 Dr. Kwesi Enyan. St. John's School, the best. St. John's School, preparing the way.
JPS Communications, in partnership with Sunny FM and Sunny TV, with support from Superfarm Network, presents Comic and Comedy.
If you want to know the number of years a man is married, ask about his wife. The way you will respond determines the number of years. If it's 1 year, 2 years, you ask him, big man, how is your wife? Excuse me, you mean my lovey-dovey baby, lovely-dovey wife? After 5 years, how is your wife? She's good. 10 years, how is your wife?
Performing on this big stage are Obi Amponsa, Clemento Suarez, General Tatia, Jacinta, Foster Romanus, Lexi the Comic, Efia Barcelona, Putogo, introducing Ya Enima with Honorable Mikose Beko and Honorable Fritz Bafo as guest of honor. Venue: National Theatre. Date: Saturday the 22nd of July and Sunday the 23rd of July. Time: 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. each day. Rate is 150 Ghana cedis for standard and 250 Ghana cedis for VIP. Dial *713*003# to purchase your tickets on all networks, or call 0552 300075. Sponsored by Ebony Condoms, Secure, Blue Band, and Series. Media partners.
Ghana's Most Beautiful puts the power in your hands. That's right. You have the power to choose who represents your region. 16 regions, 32 contestants, 1 regional representative. Your vote can choose 1 contestant to represent your region. Here are your contestants: Ahafo region, Amwenima and Techiwa; Ashanti region, Buafua and Ebo; Bono region, Efua and Kwatima; Bono East region, Amobia and Ohima; Central region, Nanaya and Chumwa; Eastern region, Efriye and Oba; Greater Accra region, Ajoko and Nayele; Northeast region, Lom and Wuni; Northern region, Basi and Nura; Oti region, Akos and Olila; Savannah region, Alela and Tetiaka; Upper East region, Hama and Nige; Upper West region, Nuong and Sunsuma; Volta region, Jifa and Selo; Western region, Sewa and Sikapa; Western North region, Biniwa and Mai. Dial *713*13# to vote or download the TV3 Reality app. Remember, your vote is your power. So pick up your phones and start voting now. Ghana's Most Beautiful, Ghana's Beauty, Africa's Pride. GMB 2023 is sponsored by
You're You're welcome back to the broadcast. Let's now take you to the House of Legislature and engage with my colleague Komla Kluche for update on the happenings in the House today. Komla, thank you so much for joining us on the program. We understand there's been a conversation on the 7-member committee to probe the leaked tape from purportedly from the deciding to oust the Inspector General of Police. What is the latest on that from Parliament? Unfortunately, Kamala, I cannot hear you. If you could unmute your microphone, I'd be grateful.
Crosby, you can hear me now.
Loud and clear.
Beautiful. So it does appear the minority is actually calling for more on this. There's actually a demand from the minority to extend the scope of the investigation, especially on the back of that interview that Bugrina granted to a private station yesterday, where he subtly admitted that indeed that recording was done in his office, ostensibly confirming the authenticity of the engagement he had with the senior police officers. Right. Now, we are getting information also that Bugrina himself was picked up by the BNI last night and also was interrogated and released on bail, allegedly, we're told. But the minority this morning is demanding that the scope of the investigation be extended to the BNI as well. The BNI must be included in this investigation, since they have already started the effecting of some arrest of the sort, and also the fact that there's a need for them to establish one authenticity of the tape, which in one way or the other has already been authenticated. But it's not to say that some scientific authentication cannot be done. It should be done. But the tentacles of it should be extended beyond national security and also the BNI, or the NIB as it is now. The new name is NIB. Yeah.
So, Kamala, beyond what is happening concerning the leaked tape and the invitation or the arrests of Bugrina Abu by the NIB, what more is happening in Parliament? We understand there are considerations for a fixed date for the media budget review.
The Speaker last week indicated that the presentation of the media review by the Finance Minister is fixed for the 25th of this month, that's next week, Tuesday. The whole of this week, the Speaker has not been in the chamber. We understand he is out of the jurisdiction. But just yesterday, when the first deputy and the deputy majority leader Alexander Marcus was presenting the business statement for the ensuing week, there's an indication from government that has been shifted to the 27th. In fact, the Speaker last week indicated that the House would not sit beyond the 3rd of August. And so that's the reason why he had agreed that the media review should be fixed for the 25th. But the deputy majority leader is indicating that government intends to bring the media review on the 27th. If that is done, then it means that Parliament will be sitting beyond the 3rd. The argument of the minority is that the Speaker had already agreed with them that they should not sit beyond the 3rd. And so this new date that is coming, they do not agree with it. And why are they making this known to the House when the Speaker himself is not in the House?
Right.
And so there's a need for them to revert to the Speaker on this. As we speak now, that's what the communication that the majority side has been able to pull out, to which the minority is not agreeing. But, well, that's the business that they have. Until the Speaker comes, it does appear that we possibly may be going for a new date for the media review, which is on the 27th.
Komla Kluche, thank you so much for those updates from Parliament. It's now time for business. Manu Afol will bring us the latest in the business world. And what's coming up? Well, Manu Afol has joined us. What's in the package, Manu?
Well, we have experts' reactions ahead of the media budget review that we're bringing with our Friday feature, of course, that everybody can relate with.
Over to you.
Thank you very much. Welcome again to the business segment. My name is Manu Afol. In our first story, the increasing calls for tax reforms prior to the media budget review has been reiterated by a lead partner at Deloitte Ghana, George Ankoma. Speaking at the 2023 Deloitte Economic Dialogue, he emphasized the need for burden sharing by government to help ease the burden on industry. Prior to the mid-year budget review, the business community has expressed keen expectations on tax cuts and other reforms to minimize the impact of the current economic challenges.
We have companies downsizing because they need to survive, and they are paying all these taxes. As I speak with you, we have one of our companies in the beverage sector which closed down one of their production lines. 150 people have gone home. A couple of weeks after they went home, there was news that I think 2 or 3 people had passed on. Oh. The situation is bad.
A lead partner at Deloitte Ghana, George Ankoma, also wants industry to be given some respite so they can survive.
One of the taxes that was also passed recently is the minimum tax regime that was passed for businesses that are even making losses. By taking 5% of their income, it becomes very difficult for businesses to really survive in such circumstances. A lot of effort needs to be put in by ensuring that incentives are created, tax incentives are created for these sectors to be able to attract investment into those sectors.
The level of risk attached to industries is on the high due to increased tariffs and taxes. For players in the industry, government's quest to drive stability and growth must be backed with more attention to the business community. Menu Afol, 3 Business, Accra. We'll now take your attention to a special Friday feature because there's a concerning trend that has caught the attention of car buyers and enthusiasts alike. The prices of cars have skyrocketed and in some cases, they have more than doubled in just 2 years. In our special Friday feature, my colleague Bismarck Awusa explores what is contributing to the increasing prices of cars in recent times.
This surge in prices is unprecedented and it is impacting consumers in profound ways. Buying a car once considered a symbol of freedom and mobility has become increasingly challenging for many. So what exactly is driving this extraordinary price?
The dollar is not stable. I mean, the exchange rate is not stable. The duties and taxes also that have been imposed by the current government is too high.
Clifford Anso is General Secretary of the Vehicle and Access Dealers Union Ghana. He tells 3 Business government has been insensitive to the union's plight over what he describes as nuisance taxes government slapped on importation.
Recovery levy also has to be scrapped because it has gone. The special import duty, for example, should go. The African Union taxes should be reduced. But if these things are still there with us, there is no way that you can, cope up with.
Mr. Anso also debunked assertions that garage dealers are engaged in profiteering, hence the abnormal prices.
But as for this perception has been in the system for a very long time. But sometimes, if you are not in the industry, you will think like the way that people think, and we must also, respect their opinions.
Cola S, 1.4 billion.
A prospective buyer, Kwabena Entribo-Isiako, engaged in a tense standoff with a garage dealer during the price negotiation. Both parties were firmly holding their ground, each unwilling to budge on their stance regarding the value of a 2012 Toyota Corolla S selling at 140,000 Ghana cedis.
Wow, including the VITs. I think the VITs, I learned now is 70,000 cedis.
You can't get it. Yes.
It was 35,000 last.
As for the bit, it's 70,000 now.
Wow.
And it's going for 140,000 cedis.
1.4 billion. How can you drive?
That's a problem.
With this huge price. I mean, this is insane. How much is it, please?
85,000.
85,000. How?
For Ali Hamidou Mumuni, his hope of buying a saloon car for ride-hailing hangs in the balance.
Yeah, the price was too much for me because I bought my Toyota Vitz last 2 years and it was 30,000. If it's because of the duty, I think the government should subsidize the price for the cars.
Another interested party, Francis Peche, had this to say.
It's so bad to the extent that something that was selling somewhere last year around 30,000, today when you ask of the same thing, they say 60,000, 65,000.
In essence, the skyrocketing prices of cars are a result of various factors, including dollarization, increased demand, and economic pressures. So to buy locally or to import, while the situation may seem daunting, it is important to explore different avenues and make informed decisions. Bismarck Ausa, 3 Business, Accra.
And that's how we wrap up the business segment on Midday Live with me, Menua Afo. Stay with us, we'll bring you more news right after the break.
From me dede, so mo se me gina ha. Na eye Franco Trading Enterprise. Omo television papa no. And me go so me di one dance e chiro. So we see hotels, hospitals, schools, offices, apartments. Sorry. Na wo pet TV papa e di abomu. Eye Franco Television. Ababa wani abrantia wasiso. Wo pet TV di abo dem a. Ehwe ba bia. Se Franco Trading Enterprise. Yeah, what 24 inches for her, 32 inches for her, 43 inches for her, 55 inches, and I can see 65 inches. It's a showing baby. Bra Franco Trading Enterprise. Franco Trading Enterprise. Television papa. I feel
Under the distinguished patronage of His Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Ghana National College celebrates its 75th Speech and Prize-Giving Day under the theme 75 Years of Holistic Education, Nurturing Leaders for the 21st Century. Date, July 22nd, 2023. Time, 8 a.m. Venue, Ghana National College, Cape Coast. The celebration will be climaxed with other landmark events as follows. July 16th, Regional Church Service. July 19th, Inter-House Debate. July 20th, Nananum Inspire followed by a sit-down. July 21st, Football Gala, AGM, Flag-Raising Ceremony and more. July 22nd, Speech and Prize-Giving Day, Fundraising Dinner Dance. July 23rd, Thanksgiving Service, swearing in new executives, Omuto Fufu Gathering, Pool Party. Nananum Enyansafo.
This Sunday on TV3, expect Ghana's Strongest to get a lot more interesting than you are accustomed to, because 2 men will be evicted out of the 8 who remain in the show. 4 events await them as we bring you this edition of Ghana's Strongest. And remember, we will be in Tema at the SOS Village. Make a date with us this Sunday at 4 p.m. right here on TV3. Ghana's Strongest, the power to do.
Catch the new season of Ghana's Strongest this Sunday at 4 p.m. only on TV3. Ghana's Strongest is powered by Gasem, the nation builder. Brought to you by Mixi Choco, Channel Hot,
Deluxy Acrylic Paint,
Drugnet.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Sports News is up next. We're welcome for this year. Rick, what's in the package?
Well, thank you very much, Crosby. We'll be focusing on some breaking news coming in just this afternoon, and it's the fact that Italy and Paris Saint-Germain goalkeeper Gianluigi Donnarumma and his partner have been attacked and robbed at their home in Paris. The couple were targeted by several people and tied up at their flat in the 8th district in the center of the capital. Police sources have told French media they are then said to have escaped to a nearby hotel. The alarm was raised by hotel staff and the couple were taken to the hospital. Unconfirmed reports on the news site Actu 17 say the attackers made off with jewelry, watches and luxury leather worth around 500,000 euros. To the FIFA Women's World Cup, where Nigeria got their campaign in Group B off to a solid start with a goalless draw against Olympic chance to become the first player to score at 6 different World Cups after she was denied from the penalty spot. Nigeria goalkeeper Chiamaka Nnadozie kept out Sinclair Sports Kick early in the second half as the Olympic champions were frustrated in Melbourne. The Paris FC goalie was adjudged as player of the match after her heroics on opening day. Deborah Abiodun was sent off late on for Nigeria. However, they earned a point with a battling display. Canada and Nigeria both have 1 point in Group B behind co-host Australia, who have 3 points. The Canadians next face the Republic of Ireland in their next game on July 26th after the Irish were beaten by Australia on Thursday. There were other games played earlier this morning in the FIFA Women's World Cup as Spain cruised to victory in their opener as they dominated Costa Rica in Wellington. Now, Valeria Del Campo scored an own goal to put the Spanish opposition ahead before Aitana Bonmali curled in a second 2 minutes later. Esther Gonzalez added a third after a header against the crossbar by Jennifer Hermoso, who then had a penalty saved by Daniela Solera. The Spanish team's dominance was shown in the match statistics as they had 46 attempts at goal, including 12 on target, with Costa Rica ranked 36th in the world, only having 1 shot which went wide. Spain also had 80% of the possession and 22 corners compared with just 1 from their opponents. Now, Manchester United have announced the signing of Andre Onana, and there's a reason the club wanted the Cameroonian goalkeeper and no one else. He is one of the best ball-playing goalkeepers in the world, and Black Queens goalkeeper Cynthia Conlan reveals her coach has been sending her videos of the Champions League finalists.
Always happy to watch and pray to God, oh, one day I would like to be like this person, just like Onana. I like the way he is. I think that is what my new coach wants. He has been sending me videos of Onana, since this is how I want us to play this season. Then he was like, I love watching Onana's game because sometimes you see him going deep into the middle. You think he's maybe a defender also. He will push his defenders back then. Because he's good with their feet. So it's like, since this is how I want us to play and I know you can do it, so we need to work towards it. So I think...
Well, that's how we'll be wrapping up the sports segment here on Midday Live. My name is Ore Kwampofo. You can get some more sports stories on 3 Sports GH. That's our social media handle. Up next on the bulletin is entertainment with Noella.
Well, let's find out from Noella Donko what's trending in the world of entertainment. Over to you, Noella.
All right, thank you so much, Crosby. Now let's get into the details of some entertainment news here on Midday Live. My name is Noella Donko. Now, Ghanaian music producer and executive producer Jam Master Jay has opened up about the relationship between his record label and his former signee, Kaki. Now, according to him, Kaki was a performer, and every song she ever had was written and composed for her.
Let me ask you, if you live here today, do you own this concept?
No, I don't.
You came to meet it?
I came to meet this concept,
Good.
Yes.
Another person will come.
Of course.
Right? So what if Media General here, you say, and they took this concept from me. Wait a minute. They did? You actually brought the concept to the programs manager and he approved it, right? You can only take what you own. Okay. There has never been even one single song that wasn't composed and written on a paper for you to sing. So how do you own it?
You're talking about Kaki.
In today's world where intellectual property is a huge conversation, how do you say it is my song? The problem is that she don't know that we have a performing artist. We have different kinds of artists.
What was Kaki?
Kaki was a performer because people compose your songs for you. And then you come, learn the songs, and record them. Just like Whitney, name all these female top musicians. Majority of them don't compose, write their own songs. Okay. What they do well is that they are able to own the song and record it or perform it to
in a way that feels like it's
exactly. But when you go out saying that it is the contract, you can't perform your own song. You know, because I knew the kind of environment we were, that's why I shut up. I didn't want to grant interview because a lot of people don't know this. And then I'll be having to argue with people who don't know what they are talking about. And I'll stress myself. So I decided, let me just zip it, allow her to keep talking. But I knew that there were some learned people out there who will know. But then I realized that majority don't, especially the entertainment space. A lot of people don't know.
Now to some more stories. You mentioned the name Stage A, and songs like Yenkonkwa, Tramilala, and several others come to mind. Well, we caught up with the Tema-based artist who has been away for some time.
Born William Kojo Johnson, but popularly known as Stage A, his craft put him in a league of his own. About 12 years ago, when he hit the limelight with hit single Shashi Wo, Stage A became an instant household name and graced the stage of most events at the time. Songs like Yenkonkwa, Tramilala, Swe, and many more endeared him to the masses.
I'm a versatile artist. I didn't just do Azonto. I did Afrobeats, I did hip life, high life, and Azonto was there to serve the nation. So I would say I did a good work.
However, the 2012 Vodafone Ghana Music Awards Best New Artist of the Year seems to have fallen off the music radar in recent times. In an interview with You Entertainment, Stage A noted that he has been away to study the music scene for his comeback.
As we say, music is dynamic. When it changes, you also have to change yourself and change the way you do things. So I've been around. I just took a little time off to study the new music genre and also to build a strong team for my comeback. So I'm here to stay.
Back in the days, Tema was known as the hub of music which hosted big names, including Stage A. However, little can be said about this now. One thing that ruled at that time was that whole Tema vibe. The fact that, when we're talking about music, everybody mentions Tema. Do you still think that vibe is, relevant now?
And not really, because there is growth in I would say in our relationship. Right now, some of them are married, others have moved from Tema, they are living here in Accra and all that. But when we meet backstage or at shows, it's the same energy, yeah.
Did you guys have the chance to groom other up-and-coming artists to take up from you guys?
I would say Killbeat groomed King Promise, and he's serving you very good. And the likes of Kwesiata, the Donzis, and the Nankees, they have a lot of squad in Tema. There's just a new guy called Icons. He's also very good, and there are a lot of upcoming.
Well, there you have it. That's what we have for you in the entertainment news segment here on Midday Live. My name is Noella Donko. Up next is international news.
In news outside the Ghanaian border, and for governor and former rebel leader Mimi Ako renewed his call for civilians in the region to take up arms to defend themselves, saying the current situation necessitates that. He said this administration was leading efforts to stop the fighting between the Rapid Support Forces, RSF, and the army, particularly in the Darfur region. The conflict is now in its 4th month. Meanwhile, he has also made similar remarks in the past, raising fears that Darfur, which is divided into 5 states, could descend into an all-out civil war amid growing ethnic tensions. That's our package for you this afternoon, but there's always more news on our website, 3news.com. My name is Noble Crosby, and on behalf of the entire production team, thank you so much for watching the bulletin. We'll see you again some other time. It's the weekend. Enjoy it. Bye-bye.
Now, if you thought you were in an old traditional German town, you would be sorely mistaken. Welcome to Swakopmund, founded in 1892 by Captain von Francois. It's the most visited town in Namibia. Now, Mund means mouth, Swakop means river. It's home to some beautiful